To my captive viewing audience, we have reached the finish line, the end. And if you have stuck around all the way to the end and watched this video all the way through, then I'm not only am I grateful and thankful, but I honestly think you should get some kind of reward. I do, because I know it's been long. I don't know how long this video goes, but I know it's been long. Anyway, here we got into the end. The final item in my collection I wish to show you, this Patriots 3-pack. And next to it here are the secret files. No, just kidding. And yeah, I know my jokes have probably been bad. I'm trying my best here, and no, I'm not going to quit my day job. But no, these are in this nondescript vanilla folder are the final numbers. These statistics, I told you I keep stats and numbers of the items in my collection. And those statistics, those numbers, they incorporate and include everything in my collection pretty much. Everything you're seeing down here. I mean, 99.9999% of my collection is captured here in these statistics, these numbers. And more on that in just a bit. Before I go ahead and show you the Patriots 3-pack and talk about the numbers, just wanted to say to my viewing audience, I'm so happy that I can now finally change my tune with people. And what I mean by that is, the tune I've been whistling for months now has been, no, I still have more videos to shoot of my collection before I can even, think about bringing it up for viewing on YouTube. But now I can finally tell people at this point, I'm done shooting the videos for my collection. Yeah, true. We've gotten there. And now, this is where my video guy, Rocky, comes into play. By the way, that's his real name as far as I know, not a nickname. And his last name's not Balboa, though I'm sure he gets that a lot. No, my video guy, Rocky, hopefully will bring all these videos I've been making for all these months and showing you this stuff in my collection to YouTube. And so, without further ado, let's just go ahead and take a look at the Patriots 3-pack. So here it is, the show closer, the final item in my collection that I wish to show you. It is a Patriots 3-pack from McFarlane from 2017. And it's a Super Bowl commemorative 3-pack from Super Bowl, that's 52, the LIII with the Lombardi trophy in place of one of the I's there, Roman numerals. Anyway, it's the Super Bowl 52 commemorative 3-pack. Again, it was from the year 2017. And it happened to actually be the very last 3-pack that Todd McFarlane would produce for any of his sports lines. Because it was right after 17 or right around there that the line was fading. And, again, we talked about this in the video, or at least I talked about this in the video, that Todd was getting seemingly less and less interested in doing sports stuff. And so it turns out this was the last one. This was the last 3-pack he made. And it's got Tom Brady in the center there in a white jersey with the logo patch on his jersey there. And that's Julian Edelman making that spectacular catch. And James White here with this, a touchdown celebration pose. Again, that's the only James White figure that was made available, was in this 3-pack. Right there, you're looking at it. Todd never produced a James White individual carded. He just used a Frank Gore pose, I guess. Anyway, so that's what the piece is. It's the 2017 Patriots commemorative Super Bowl 3-pack. And why did I save it for last? Well, here's why. This was originally part of my son's collection, my 12-year-old son, Ethan. A few years back, around this time, 2016, 2017, when he was a little bit younger, he started first getting into football, and he was really into football with Tom Brady and the Patriots. He really liked Brady and the Patriots, and so, around Christmas time, Mom's like, well, is there anything we can get him for Christmas that has Patriots or Tom Brady? Yeah, sure, Mom. Big Bad Toy Store has the Patriots 3-pack exclusive. Fine, let's order it for him. So that'll be one of his Christmas gifts. So we did that, ordered it for my son. He got it. He sees his father is, well, a collector, I think it's safe to say. So he doesn't open it, and he preserves this in a nice box, and he keeps it away in an area, where it's safe from anybody going to knock it over, mess with it, or anything like that. So he kept it in a nice box here all these years. Well, it's only been a few years, but these past few years. And then so when my son finds out that I'm making this video of my collection, he says, hey, Dad, how about the Patriots 3-pack? How about I give it to you and you feature it in your collection? And I was like, really? And he's, yeah, so we brokered a deal where I would buy it off of him, quote unquote, which I did. It's just, nowadays not necessarily cold, hard American tender like it was back when my dad and I transacted. Now it's just like Xbox currency or something. Anyway, so broker a deal where I buy this from my son and put it in the collection. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make this the last item. I'm going to make this the showstopper, the last one. So I saved my son's item for last, which actually now I guess is part of my collection. But yeah, originally it belonged to my son. And now for those long-awaited numbers. If one should wonder, so where do these numbers come from anyway? Do you have some kind of official records keeper of your collection? The answer is yes. Yes, I do. It's me. I'm the records keeper. I'm the curator. I am the statistician. I'm pretty much the everything of this collection. It's a one-man show. I run the endowment department, who deals directly with major benefactors like Mr. Bad Chad, JB, Carol Baskin Carm, Kaiser Sose, Mo, Kenny and Jason. No, seriously though. These numbers actually that I'm about to show you guys, I do keep records. I do keep the records of what comes into my collection. I have a database and a program, and I've been keeping that database and program for the duration of my collection, literally, for its entirety, for over 20 years, way back in the mid-90s when we were still using little plastic, like call them floppy disks, you know what I'm talking about, that you would store your data on those little, floppy disks. You guys, if you're old enough to even remember. No, if you're just in your 30s, remember that, I would think. 20s, I don't know about. Anyway, the floppy disks, yeah, going back to those days, that's where it started. And now it's just on a program, on a computer, at an undisclosed location. I can't reveal where my I can't reveal where my computer is that stores all this stuff for, in case of attack or for purposes otherwise. Anyway, no, I have them all stored on a computer. And every time I take something new into my collection, whether it be die-cast, action figure, anything along those lines, it gets like inventoried and logged into my database. And that's where these numbers I'm about to show you are generated from. And I'll explain a little bit more about that, especially when it comes to the sports cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers. So I'll just begin by showing you these numbers here. My collection by the numbers, here we go. I broke it down on this sheet to just sports action figures and sports collectibles. And so the sports action figures are broken down into three main categories. As you can see, the bullet points there. There's sports picks, starting lineups, and then NHL, MLB figures. And after each one is their manufacturer as well as the years that they produced them, and that I was, not just that they produced them, I should say, that I was collecting them. The years that I collected them from. So again, starting at the top there with the sports picks, made by McFarlane. I collected them for 19 years, 2000 to 2019 there. And I wound up 1,912 individual sports picks in my collection. And also, just to clarify, if it was a box set that had like multiple figures in there, I didn't count those as individually as figures. I just counted the box set as one item, one entity, when I counted that 1,912 in there. So if you wanted to consider those individual figures in the box set, then I guess it'd be more. But I just counted the box set as one thing, one item. So 1912 there. Below that is starting lineups. Kenner Hasbro, we had seen plenty of those. From 96 to 2000 is when I was pretty much collecting them. And I went up with 591 of those. And then below that are the more recent Imports Dragon NHL MLB figures, which again span from 2015. They're still going. They're current. I put it there 2019. 52 of those for a total of 2,555 of sports figures in my collection from the main manufacturers. And then below that, it says miscellaneous sports collectible items. That would include things like bobbleheads, the Corinthian headliners I had upstairs, the mini jerseys, pretty much anything that doesn't fit the top three main categories that's sports related to my collection. That would not be sports cards, of course. They're their own separate category. So I just call that miscellaneous sports collectible items. And there's 312 of those in my collection. So when you add the two numbers, 2,867 total number of sports figures, collectibles in my collection, and once again, not counting the sports cards. Before I show you these numbers and the non-sports action figures in my collection and run through them, just wanted to point out and clarify something about the database. What we're seeing here is not my database. This is just a raw breakdown of numbers. My database and all the information I have stored in there of all the items in my collection is a 400-page long document. Well, I think it's more than 400 pages by now. 400-page plus document that I would never, ever subject my viewers to the torture of having to view that document where everything is broken down. Like, say, for example, Star Wars figures at the top of the list there. That's broken down in my database by year. Is it red carded? Is it green carded? What series is it from? Power of the Force, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith. The character's name, number. After it'll say best spin outfit or something exclusive. Or if it's sports figures, it's broken down by year, jersey variant, chase figures, serial number. It's very meticulously broken down. And no, guys, I would never subject you to seeing that document. But that's the way I store my stuff and my collectibles, because I am a very meticulous keeper of records, I suppose. And if you guys are also wondering, so who audits this collection every year? Nice to meet you, ma'am, sir. I am the auditor. Yeah, I audit my collection every year too. So again, I'm everything. Okay, back to the numbers here. Non-sports action figures in my collection. Remember when I showed you the video, I started off by showing you sports figures, then non-sports figures, and then die-cast. So here it is. Broke it down from greatest to least with miscellaneous on the bottom. Starts off with the most Star Wars figures. Hasbro Disney, collected them from 95 to 19. 356 of those currently in my collection. Funko Pops from 2015 to 2019 at 162. Marvel Legends figures starts off as Toy Biz, later becomes Hasbro, 138 of those. G.I. Joe figures from Hasbro, 2000 and 2017, 122. DC Universe figures, Mattel, 02 to 15, 54 of those. Halo figures starts off as Joyride, currently McFarlane, 03 to 17, 47 of those. Mass Universe figures, in the early days, Mattel, later on Palisades, 02 to 15, 45 of those. WWE wrestling figures from Jakks Hasbro, 33. Spider-Man figures, those are the ones I showed you from Toy Biz up in Showroom B from 02 to 04. They were on the red card. I had all the figures on that board, like Rhino, Scorpion, Morbius, those that I found at Walmart, 23 of those. And then finally, a category I just call miscellaneous action figures. Any action figures or collectibles in my collection that don't fit the aforementioned categories. Horror, movie, TV figures. How many GameStop promo figures I have in my collection, just seemingly countless. All that, all those kinds of figures that don't fit the main categories. 299 miscellaneous action figures. So total number of non-sports action figures, 1,279. So that was roughly 4,000 action figures I showed you in my collection. And yes, I do realize, depending on your perspective and how you view things and where you're coming from, it probably is not a healthy number of action figures for one person to have in their collection. Maybe, not normal. Believe me, I get that. I do. I do. So, but for those of you out there who seem to share in my sickness, maybe you can kind of understand. Anyway, getting back to the diecast now. Here is a breakdown of the diecast in my collection. Starting off with the four major manufacturers, and then down below the miscellaneous. So starting at the top, would have the most of the Hot Wheels, made by Mattel. The earliest ones in my collection date from 96 to 2019. 3,970 Hot Wheels in my collection. And once again, I treat multi-packs of those in terms of a box set with multiple cars in there, maybe 2 cars, 5 cars, 10 cars. See action figures in terms of the way I treat that. One box set is just one item or entity. Therefore, I just count it one time in the 3,970, even if there are multiple cars in that box set. Then there's Johnny Lightning by Playing Mantis RC2 from 2000 2019. 384 Johnny Lightnings in my collection. M2 Machines by M2 in the early days they were cast line, 2008 2019. 238 of those. Greenlight Machines by the Greenlight manufacturer diecast, 05 to 19, 207 of those. And then finally the miscellaneous diecast category. That's pretty much everybody else. Auto World, which I only have, a handful of, maybe between 30 and 40 of those in my collection. Jada, Maiso, any of the manufacturers that don't fit the major ones, the aforementioned major ones. 177 of those in my collection. For a total number of diecast, 4,976. Once again, probably should not have that much die-cast and action figures in one's collection. It's probably not normal, but again, for those who really enjoy the endeavors of collecting and just enjoy collecting the way I do, well, I guess you can understand. So those numbers cover the action figures and die-cast. Here's a number for sports cards in my collection. It says here, total number of sports cards, baseball, football, hockey, basketball in the showcase, 1,678. And referring now back to the sports card section of my video, the showcase refers to any cards that have the monthly Beckett value high of $10 or more. And just to show you again what that 1,678 number is covering, was all these cards that are out here in the showcases, on the floor, and on the shelf. So we'll cover all these cards here from baseball that I had showed you guys sitting out here, and these, if you recall, from the sports card portion of the video. And then it covers all these cards here as well, which will be the football that are in the showcase and the shelves. So we cover all these, more football here that we had seen. And then it gets into hockey and basketball over here. That number would also cover these cards here that you see the game used on this display here that we had seen, as well as some of the better ones over here that I showed you previously. And then here was that other display that I keep in the room. I just put it on the floor here because of the poor lighting once again. You can see it's so much better here. It would cover these cards as well because they're part of the basketball. And then coming into the room here, it will be these cards that we had seen, basketball cards. And these are the cards in the staging area here that I have to actually put into the showcases and shelves out there. I have to integrate them, all these stacks of cards here. But that number would cover all these cards in the 1,678. It covers all that I just showed you. As far as like these cards here in the binders that I keep, again, I showed you before in the commons boxes, I've never actually counted all of these cards. Not the ones here in the binders and the boxes. So I really don't have any idea how many cards I have in these commons boxes and tucked away in these 3-ring binders in the 9 pocket pages. I would guesstimate somewhere in the hundreds of thousands if I counted up each and every one of these cards that I'm showing you here. It'd probably be 6 figures in the hundreds of thousands in terms of quantity. But the truth is, I don't know because I never actually counted. I only know how many I have again in the showcase and on the floor display. So, well, that's it. I've showed you my collection, everything I want to show you, and I've reached the end. Didn't think this day would come, and it feels a little bit like I just graduated college and I'm walking across the stage getting my diploma. No, but really, it's been a long time coming. Been working on this video for a long time. And now that it's finished, like I said before, time to turn it over to Rocky, my technical video guy, and hopefully he can work his magic and bring these videos I've created to YouTube. Incidentally, Rocky has one of the most impressive collections I've ever seen of, are you ready for it? Life-size horror film icon statues/likenesses. Yes, I just recently saw his collection on display for Halloween, and it is most impressive. I'm talking a life-size, hand-woven, hand-created replica likeness of Michael Myers from Halloween, or Jack Torrance from The Shining, or Slender Man. He has them all in his collection, and it's just a really impressive collection. So hopefully Rocky will bring these videos to YouTube. And speaking out to my YouTube viewing audience, just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. It was an honor and pleasure to show you my collection. And I don't know, guys, how long this video really is. I know it's not short. But to anybody who watched it all the way through from beginning to end, again, I think you should get some kind of prize or reward for that. But really, thank you. And please leave feedback and comments. I'll respond to them. And whatever my collection is, whatever you think it is, whatever I think it is, it could not be made possible without the awesome generosity of my donors, my benefactors, the guys over the years who have contributed so much to this collection. It feels like I haven't thanked them enough in this video. And guys, I just want to make you guys household names. And again, it's Bad Chad from Kansas, James JB from New Hampshire, Mo from Arizona, also known as Kaiser Sose, Carm from Canada, also known as Carol Baskin. And Carm, I hope you don't hate me for nicknaming you Carol Baskin. I just want you to get internet fame. And I know Mo doesn't hate me for nicknaming him Kaiser Sose. And then my local guys, Star Wars Kenny, and Jason, also known as the Professor. And I have so many error variation action figures in my collection because Jason has such off-the-chart recognition skills at the retail level of every little nuance and variation error on an action figure. It's really most impressive. And also to the GameStop managers over the years who appreciated my passion for collecting and let me take home so much, GameStop swag and collectibles to add to my collection. Thank you, guys and girls. As you can see, it's right here on display in my collection all these years. And just thank you once again for everybody who contributed to this collection. It's been just an honor and pleasure to show it to you. And thank you for watching my video.